This is my second time watching it, and I still have the same emotions. It was such a well-made movie. But right now, I would like to ask up to the stage, the front, two of the very important members of the movie-making team. That would be the producer, Louie Nguyen, and also the screenwriter, Do Hoa Tra. Yes, Louis, and this is Tra. Thank you for joining us. Come up here. We don't have chairs, so maybe or you can sit. You can sit. You can sit. Can you see the faces? Beautiful faces, beautiful smiles. You must be very proud of the movie.
Yes.
Anyway, it's not me asking the questions, but this is the audience time. Quý vị có thể hỏi tiếng Việt, có thể hỏi tiếng Anh, and we should take advantage of the presence of these two individuals. Fatima, let me run down to bring you the microphone.
Is this a true story? Because with the ending, I mean, it made us wonder.
Yeah,
tell us though.
Actually, this is an adapted movie, so is the end of the book is also like that. Like, is the son grew up and he wrote the book, so we try to make it like as the same with the book as possible, and yeah, we want the audience to guess.
Okay. Either way, it's a beautiful story, beautiful movie. I loved it. Thank you so much. Yeah, I hope you turn this to you.
Yeah, if you're not familiar with the author, he's almost like the equivalent of Judy Blume here in the U.S. He writes a lot of books about that teenage years, the angst of growing up, and so I believe this is the second or third adaptation of his novels, and he's a brilliant writer. It's a lovely small book. If you read Vietnamese, it's worth picking up.
Em xin hỏi. Thank you, Louis. Thank you, Tra. So in watching this film, there were so many beautiful pieces. You could see the influence of, famous people like Trần Anh Hùng, and but what was very overwhelmingly compelling was it felt like very much a K-drama. And then at the end, I saw what seemed like Korean producers and production. Can you talk a little bit about that kind of audience and that kind of appeal? Because, it's so heart-wrenching, it's so beautiful, it's so innocent. It's like, but this one, they actually touch each other, they actually kiss each other, so it wasn't a K-drama. Congratulations, you kind of got it all.
Yeah, so I'm technically what's called an executive producer. I'm not a producer. So producer is someone who's working through the 45, 60 days of making the film. And an executive producer is someone who is much more behind the scene and much more around strategic alliances and raising the money. So that's just to give context to how I will answer this question. So HK Film is a Vietnamese film company that's been around some 25 years. My group of investors and I came in and invested in HK Film about a little over 12 years ago. And in the course of that, we created a joint venture with CJ, which is Korea's largest film company. They made Parasite, a lot of the famous Korean films that you've seen came out of CJ. So they're just a dominant force. And so at the end of the credit, you might have seen CJHK, which is the technical name of our joint venture. Very creative, right? And so Justin Lim you'll see his name, just a really bright, young, up-and-coming film producer in Korea. And so he spends time in Vietnam, Indonesia, Thailand, like he just travels. And so what you saw as we were making this film was really a lot of his crew's influence, and I'd love to hear your take on the screenwriting of it. But if you remember, maybe 7 or 8 years ago, we had another film called Am Là Bà Nội Của Anh, if you remember that film. That was our big very successful film that we did with our Korean partners as well. And you could, the quality of it, it's just, the production value is totally different, the standard's totally different, it's really global, really world class. And so we really, from a standpoint of a joint venture, not only just financial, but the technical transfer and the standard that they expect of their film has been a big boost for us.
So can I ask, is the vision to have this screen worldwide, and also is there a Korean market for V-drama?
There's probably more of a market in Singapore for Vietnamese films than there are for this type of stuff. Vietnamese horror films travel pretty well, but the Koreans, their content is amazing, so it's hard to penetrate that market. Where we're seeing a lot of traction, Singapore, Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, where, I mean, just globally speaking, Vietnam is a really hot cinema market. Like, it's one of the bright spots that is growing, and it's, and the content that we're putting out is, as you can see, just getting better and better every day. And so there's a greater adoption rate happening.
Before we take the next question, let me take a minute to reintroduce Louie Nguyen to you. For you who do not know who Louie Nguyen is, of course, he's the executive producer of the movie, but he's also an impact investor. And as I looked it up, an impact investor is not an investor looking for a financial returns for the clients, but that's a secondary. The primary concern is to make an impact for society. So Louie, oh, by the way, he sits on the board of HK Film as well. Congratulations. What impact you intended to make in this movie?
Yeah, so our investment is at the HK Film level, and so we made it 12 years ago. So a very simple story is, prior to our investment, there's a camera called a phantom camera. It's like $500,000 for the body. And when you see those footages of a bullet going into an apple and an apple slowly exploding, that's that camera that does that. And prior to our investment, if anyone in Vietnam needed to use that camera, they would rent it from a guy in Manila, and he would send it over with 3 people carrying it, using it, and bringing it back. So there was no technology transfer. No one in Vietnam even knew how to use it, because they just wouldn't let our people touch it. So we came in, our investment was a modest 7-figure amount, and one of the first purchases that we did was we bought that camera for the Vietnamese market. And so there's a technology transfer. And once you have a technology transfer, you also have a whole cottage industry that comes up around it, how to service it, how to use it. And so that leapfrogged our whole industry. We also put in a lot of money on post-production, music production. So now we are, instead of sending the project overseas to get it done, we could do it locally. And in economic term, that's called a closed economic system. The money flows within our system, our ecosystem. So not only is the money flowing internally, but also the know-how and the technology. So the younger people are also learning. So part of our investment thesis in Vietnam was job creation. So young people coming in from the rural area, in addition to job opportunities at Nike and garment shops, they can come and work for HK. So there's job creation, technology transfer, and then just the general building up of our own narrative on the global scene.
Thank you. Any more questions? In the back, please. Please just raise your hand, and then we'll bring the camera. We'll bring the microphone to you, and you can ask in Vietnamese, English, Filipino. No.
So this film is adapted from a novel, and so I just wanted to know the process of creating screenwriting that, and also just like, what do you choose and what do you choose not to adapt from that novel?
Thank you for your question. So, the first step of the adaptation, like you read the book, well, like we read together. We read director, read producer, and scriptwriter, and we choose which part that we think that is the core of the story. With adaptation, you cannot transfer everything into the movie, so you have to choose which one is the most important one. And the core values in this movie is about like the love and friendship and the choice. Like when you make a choice, you have to like live with that. And 1 second. Yeah. And one of the most difficult part of this adaptation is that if you read the book, you will realize that the author he's wrote about the thought of the character a lot, and that you cannot transfer into the movie. It's not just dialogue. You have to transfer into like action, into like image. So that's one of the more difficult things. But we still choose to remain those voice over a bit at the beginning and the end, so that the reader, like the fan of the author, they still feel like, oh, this is a specific, something special from the book. Because in the book, you will find that there is so many characters. And what we do is we immerse some character into one. So in the book, we have the auntie and the sister. They're two different ones. And in the movie, we combine them into one character because we think that we only need one strong character that affect to the main actress, the main the female leading. Like she affect to the sister affect to how the man sees love, what love is to her. We also combine some other character and like about the event. So the difficult thing is about this movie is about the time is spread from the childhood until like the adulthood. So we have to like combine event as well. I hope that if you have a chance, you will read the book and you will see like what we did with the adaptation. Thank you.
You should translate the book for them. We actually optioned the rights to that novel like 8 years ago, so it's a long process, and then finding the right team to adapt it is a very difficult process as well.
May I ask a question? Đúng là chúng tôi cũng lúc mà đi học đại học á, thì cũng học về văn chương, thì nó cũng hay đọc sách, hay đọc truyện, và bây giờ thì cứ xem phim hoài, tối nào cũng xem Netflix ấy. Nhưng mà để ý đặc biệt thấy có một cái advantage cho chúng tôi ngày hôm nay, đó là đây là xem lần thứ hai, thành ra mình nhận được những cái cảnh, thí dụ người bước vào sau có ánh nắng đằng sau, hoặc những cái lời thoại, đặc biệt thí dụ như là cái câu mà khi mà Vinh trước khi đi đó, Miền có hỏi là muốn sơn cái tường màu gì, thì Vinh nói là anh tin ở quyết định của em. Thật ra những cái lời như vậy nó tạo cho mình cái ấn tượng khi mà cái quyết định sau cùng của Miền. Thì Trà có thể cho biết là những cái lời thoại đó mình có sắp xếp như thế nào để cho nó có một cái bigger impact trong cái movie không ạ?
Nói về cái ví dụ mà anh mới nói, thì thực ra cái câu đấy nó không có trong sách. Thì that scene have a little background that we have another like other scenes that actually the Uncle Huấn is going to get married and they have to repaint the house, and then we have one scene that Min's father asked her like, what color do you want to paint the house again? But like because of the duration is too long, so we have to cut those scenes. But when I think about that scene, I wanted to have was something that clearly indicate how is it? Em muốn một cái câu nói mà của chính từ Vinh nói ra là anh muốn để em chọn. Tại vì ở trong sách nó chỉ là cái suy nghĩ thôi, là tôi muốn Miền được lựa chọn, nhưng mà ở đây mình muốn khán giả được thấy rõ rằng đấy là cái ý định của Vinh, thì mình phải truyền tải nó thành cái lời thoại thay vì nó là cái suy nghĩ.
Tại vì cái phim này là dựa trên một cái cuốn sách rất là nổi tiếng, là một cái benefit là những cái danh từ tiếng Việt của mình rất là độc đáo, mà khi mà dịch ra tiếng Anh nó mất nhiều cái depth nữa. Như rằng là cái tên của cái phim này không á, ngày xưa có một chuyện tình. I just love that phrase, like the name, the title. Và khi mà dịch ra tiếng Anh nó mất hết cái ý nghĩa. So a lot of những người mà coi phim mà hiểu tiếng Việt đó, là thật là có một cái lợi. Khi mà dịch ra tiếng Anh nó mất đi. So I think answer cái question là cái phim này nó có transfer qua như rằng là thị trường khác á, có thể mà nó mất cái chiều sâu.
More questions? Oh, please.
Can I have two?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, 1 second. The mic is coming.
I don't actually need a mic, but that's okay. I think one of the most powerful things about this film, not only the idyllic countryside of quê hương Vietnam, but your actors. You did a great job casting. I am engrossed with Avon Lu. His eyes are just like an anime. Ming is just gorgeous and lovely. And Phuc, you know, you love to hate him, right? So how did you find the actors? I'm so out of it. Maybe they're really famous in Vietnam. I don't know anything about these. So they're new to my eyes. Thank you.
I will answer the question because actually the first movie of Avon Lu is my movie. It's an indie movie, and that's one thing that I'm really proud of, that indie movie gives new actor opportunity to enter the industry. And after that first movie, Avon Lu also played Trịnh Công Sơn. It's one of the biopic movie, big movie in previous year, and that he's one of the 3 actors that have like quite some name. But for Phuc and Nguyen, they are totally new. This is their first feature film, and after this film, both of them have more feature film after that. So also again, I'm so proud that we have found new actors for the industry, and I think it's also because of the director Minh. He's also like keen on to find, like he also more about like finding new actors, that the new faces that are suitable for the characters, because those, you know, like because those characters, they are like from 18s to like 30 something, and you cannot use some actor or actress that like quite old, and you know, like you have to have new faces. And yeah, like now recently we have Phuc Hoàng. He's in the new movie that now become the top 1 box office recently in Vietnam. Yeah.
What film was that?
You don't want to know.
I don't want to know it.
Actually, I didn't have chance to watch it in Vietnam. No.
So just by way of introduction, Cha is here in the U.S. on a Fulbright. She's in LA getting her master's in production. Very cool. She's done 2 indies and just a rising star in our ecosystem. And so, again, part of our thesis in investing is money follows money. So as we put capital into the market, other players are coming in, and as you bring in more capital in the market, you attract talent, and so it's an exciting time for the Vietnamese market.
Do you have a second question?
Oh no, that was my second. I felt very indulgent. Thank you.
Okay. Any more questions from the audience? We'll take the one in the back first, and then.
Tôi muốn hỏi là tất cả những hình ảnh trong cái cuốn phim này đó là quay tại miền Trung của Việt Nam hay là sao? Rất là đẹp, cảnh rất là đẹp, làm cho mình coi mình muốn trở về thăm quê hương, bước đi trên những con đường đó đó. Thành ra là tôi muốn biết là cái này quay ở đâu ạ?
Dạ, cảm ơn cô. Phim này tụi con quay ở Phú Yên ạ. Dạ, bối cảnh trong câu chuyện trong sách thì là ở Quảng Nam, nhưng mà ở Phú Yên thì đoàn làm phim tìm được những cái bối cảnh nó vẫn còn mang cái chất ngày xưa, nó mình không phải dựng lại, mà tại vì khi mình dựng lại thì cái bối cảnh nó không có cái màu thời gian nữa, thành ra đây là tất cả là ở Phú Yên. Dạ.
Dạ vâng, Đạt mà không có nóng. ngồi đây coi thì ok, chứ khi mà chiếu cái ngày đó là nóng lắm.
They mentioned a lot about Quảng Nam. I mean Da Nang. So I guess the book, the setting was in Quảng Nam, right? Yes, yeah. The question up here, please.
Hi, thank you so much. One thing I really enjoyed about watching this film was both the cinematography and the scoring, the musical scoring of the film. And I was wondering how you ended up hiring the cinematographer and also the composer, and like where your inspirations drew visually and audibly for the film.
Okay, so we have one advantage because the cinema photographer is actually the producer of this movie. Yeah, so like he worked on with it from the very beginning, and he has really specific idea about this scene or that scene, what he wants to do already, and he's really like an experienced cinema photographer. About the music, so the man at the end after credit, he's a musician. Yeah, he wrote the out song for the movie, the theme song, and he's quite famous for those kind of OST, the soundtrack for the movie, and he also wrote some original song for movies before, and he quite familiar with this writing. About the score, is the one, he's from Thailand. Yeah, and one time this our producer, who went to watch this movie in cinema called You and Me, and he into that style of score, and he contact the musician in Thailand to work for our movie because they both have similar like mood and tone. Yeah.
So the name of our film company is HK Film, and the H is Hoan, and he is a very famous cinematographer in Vietnam. He's the OG of cinematographer in Vietnam, and so a lot of the films that he's involved in has that really broad strokes and just gorgeous filming. Yeah.
So HK is not Hong Kong.
We get that all the time.
Sure. Any more questions? Well, since I have a mic, may I ask a last question to both of you? Dựa trên hồi nãy thì anh Louie, cái câu mà anh Louie trả lời, anh Louie nói là người mà xem được tiếng Việt thì sẽ cảm nhận sâu sắc hơn. Cái tựa đề là dịch sang tiếng Anh là Once Upon a Love Story. Thì obviously trong đây mình không chỉ có one love story, love stories, the love between male and female, we have a few already, and we also have loves between siblings, friends, and even the neighbors, right? They take care of each other. So what significance in the name, and how you want to bring out, like Cha said, bring out the core of the theme?
Yeah, that's a tough question. Yeah, that's something that I struggle with. We exist to be an ongoing enterprise, right? So we gotta make money, and so our film, our latest film is about a hijacking on a plane. It's really silly, but it makes money. And then we make films like this, where production value is fantastic, great reception, but it doesn't travel well, right? Because it's really designed for the Vietnamese market, for those who appreciate what the old Vietnam looks like, appreciate the language, the play on words and stuff like that. So I struggle with how much do we need to make films for the global market, and how much should we be just making film for the Vietnamese market. So right now, that's our model, is just making film mostly for the Vietnam market. And so we don't really bring our films around the US. We only do it here because of the Vietnamese community. So it's appreciated. I'm not fully answering your question. It's a very tough question. But I think, for me, just personally, I think the subtitle and the translation, there are moments where I cringe because I just feel like it's losing it completely. But I'm okay with it now because we can't capture it. It's because it's part of the beauty is not just the actors and the songs and the cinematography, but it's actually the words themselves that makes it so beautiful. And so I'm not answering your question, but I hold that tension. I think about it.
About love in the movie. So when you heard the Vietnamese title, Ngày xưa có một chuyện tình, you feel like it's like a fairy tale. It's a bit like fairy tale. But we want to make that fairy tale feel like it still exists. Like nowadays, maybe the love of everything is so fast, and with this this setting from 80s, 90s, 2000 something, like people still love like in slow pace and everything is very sincere. And one thing is, but to that time you have no internet, nothing, so people contact with each other like directly, and also with love. Sometimes it's not about like something you speak out, but also about action. So we focus on those detailed actions, like Vinh do a lot of little things for me, and we want to show that in the movie, so that the audience can feel that sincere love from the character for each other.
Cái cảnh cuối. You have time for one last question?
3 minutes, he said.
Oh.
He said 3 minutes.
All right, you go.
You brought up a really interesting question. Louie, I'm really curious why you don't think this is marketable. I mean, yes, some things are lost in translation, but I think this film is so universally beautiful because not only is Vietnam's Quê Hương so beautiful, but the love stories and the complexity of complex love is universal. So I'm wondering why you don't think it can do the film festivals and do well in Korea or Czechoslovakia or Canada.
Yeah, because we've tried.
Really?
Yeah, and this is not the first film, right? Like we had another film. What was it called? It was about two guys. One was in Canada, one in Vietnam. It showed it here. Đúng rồi. Yeah, that was a very. What was it? Cổ Hoài Lang. And then it was another film that was very deep, very Vietnamese, and that didn't travel very well. So we've tried it a couple of times, but we're always looking to be surprised, but it's not part of our model.
This is so deeper than Green Papaya.
Yeah, I think that's I think there's a whole discourse around that. Green Papaya was very sort of Orientalism, very sort of exotic, and and it was the first time people saw Vietnam, and Trần Anh Hùng is a great friend of our company, and he's just a master of lighting, and so it was a beautiful thing, but it just didn't have the same depth as something like this, right? We have another film that came out 4 or 5 years ago called Rom. If you haven't seen it, try to find it. It's about sort of the underbelly of Vietnam. It's an indie film, and we created it at HK Film, and Trần Anh Hùng loved it and really took it under his wings and brought it to Paris to get it produced, and so but yeah, and I had hoped that Rom would do really well globally because it was super gritty. It's like very honest, very deep view of the real social issues of Vietnam. It won an award at Busan, and it was big, but it just didn't. It didn't travel well.
I think it's a matter of time. Like fine wine, it will become greater like after a year or something. Yeah.
Yeah, I always, remember the Korean film, Old Boy, right? Old Boy came out, it bursted onto the global scene, and that was the first time many people were like, wow, the Koreans make good films. But they were already making great films prior to that, but it was Old Boy that just blew up globally, and it made people look at Korea. I always think we're like 3 to 5 years from our Old Boy, but I think that every year. But I think to Ja's point, it's just a matter of time.
I was going to say that cái cảnh cuối đó, khi mà thấy Phúc đau khổ trên xe và lời nói của Miền rằng là cái quyết định gì của mình cũng sẽ làm cho nhiều người đau khổ. Nó ngược lại cái khúc mà khi mà Su nói với Phúc là Su chỉ muốn làm trẻ con thôi, không muốn làm người lớn. Thì người lớn buồn phiền nhiều quá. Trong cuộc sống của chúng ta có rất nhiều cái thay đổi thật là nhanh mà chúng ta cần phải đáp ứng lại với nó. Thành ra có một cuốn phim như thế này để chúng ta hồi tưởng lại ký ức, cười, khóc và có những cái kỷ niệm đẹp và những suy nghĩ sâu sắc về cuộc sống của chúng ta. Chúng tôi xin cảm ơn Louie Nguyen và Do Hoa Tra đã đóng góp làm một cái cuốn phim thật là có nhiều ý nghĩa. Congratulations and thank you. Và một lần nữa xin cảm ơn quý vị.
Yeah, and thank you for everyone for coming and spending your time here and watching this creation of ours. So thank you very much. And tell your friends about Jan and all her great work she's doing.
Xin cảm ơn quý vị. Và chương trình của Viet Film Fest trong năm nay vẫn còn tiếp tục ở đây cho tới hết ngày mai. Và quý vị có thể xem trên mạng cho tới ngày 19 tháng 10. Một lần nữa xin cảm ơn quý vị. Thank you.